Well, our lives are increasingly lived online. We connect, we work, we speak in digital spaces. This new reality has created new forms of power. Corporations and governments can now watch us on a massive scale. They can collect our words, they can collect our movements, and even the expressions on our faces. This data is not just stored, it is used. It is used to predict our behavior. It is used to influence our choices. It is used to shape our societies. Without clear rights and protections, this power imbalance will only grow deeper. Our freedom to think for ourselves is at stake. The threat is not abstract, it is concrete and personal. Think of a camera on a street corner. It does not just see a face, it identifies a person, it tracks their path, it notes who they meet. Now imagine millions of these cameras, all connected, all feeding data into a central system. This system can create a detailed map of our lives. It can know our political beliefs, our friendships, and our vulnerabilities. This is not the future, this is happening now. The fight for digital rights is a fight for the basic human right to a private life. It is the fight for our freedom from constant judgment and control. When our every move is recorded, our behavior changes. We become more cautious. We hesitate to explore new ideas. We avoid expressing unpopular opinions. This chilling effect damages the very foundation of a free and open society. Mass surveillance undermines all of this. It creates a digital panopticon where we are all prisoners, watched by an unseen guard. Protecting our digital space is therefore not a technical issue. It is a fundamental defense of liberty itself. The first pillar of any successful campaign is public and media engagement. Change rarely happens in the dark. The public must first understand that a problem exists. This requires turning complex technical issues into clear, compelling human stories. Activists achieve this by publishing detailed reports, creating shareable videos, launching petitions that demonstrate the scale of public concern. They work closely with journalists to place stories in national newspapers, on broadcast news. A powerful headline can bring a hidden injustice into the light. When millions of people are aware of an issue and demand action, politicians are forced to listen and respond. The second pillar is direct political and parliamentary lobbying. Public outrage is a powerful force, but it must be channeled into concrete policy change. This is the inside work. It involves building relationships with lawmakers and their staff across the political spectrum. Activists provide politicians with clear, factual briefings that explain the problem and offer workable solutions. They give evidence to parliamentary committees, helping to shape their reports and recommendations. They draft amendments to new laws, ensuring that privacy and human rights are protected. This steady, persistent engagement turns the momentum from a public campaign into the letter of the law. It is the crucial link between protest and policy. The third and final pillar is the use of legal and regulatory challenges. The law is a powerful tool for holding power accountable. It might be a formal complaint to a regulator, such as the Information Commissioner's Office, arguing that a company has broken data protection rules. It might be a court case that seeks to establish a new legal precedent protecting privacy. It might even be the simple act of using freedom of information requests to uncover evidence of wrongdoing that was previously hidden from public view. Legal action ensures that rights are not just ideals but enforceable rules. These three strategies are most powerful when they work in concert. A media story creates public pressure. That pressure gives lobbyists the leverage they need to engage with politicians. The threat of a legal challenge or a regulatory investigation adds urgency to those conversations. A successful campaign is like a three-legged stool. It needs all three supports to remain stable and strong. By weaving these tactics together, activists create a multifaceted campaign that applies pressure from all sides. It is this integrated approach that has allowed organizations like Big Brother Watch to take on powerful adversaries and achieve significant, lasting victories for our digital rights. In 2023, a chilling discovery was made. Big Brother Watch, using evidence from a whistleblower and from painstaking Freedom of Information requests, uncovered secretive government units operating within the heart of government, monitoring online speech, journalists, academics, elected politicians, a modern-day Ministry of Truth, policing dissent under the guise of combating misinformation, a profound threat to free expression, operating in the shadows without public or parliamentary oversight. The campaign began with a powerful media launch. Big Brother Watch published a report, Ministry of Truth. The evidence was laid out in stark, undeniable terms. Major news outlets picked up the story, a wave of public shock, political shock in Parliament. The public pillar mobilised. The political pillar, a packed parliamentary briefing, detailed briefings and Q&A. A cross-party coalition formed. MPs began asking hard questions in the House of Commons. With pressure mounting, the legal pillar kicked in. Legal action to force disclosure. Court filings and headlines kept the story alive. Letters to CEOs of major social platforms. Evidence showing government pressure to censor. The multi-pronged attack was relentless. The government could not ignore the media, evade questions in Parliament, or dismiss legal threats. Pressure became too great. A clear, decisive victory. The Counter-Disinformation Unit was forced to reform. The government issued a public apology to a wrongly monitored journalist. A minister admitted the unit had operated in a legal vacuum. Investigation found the truth. Media told the story. Political and legal pressure forced change. A textbook example of holding unaccountable power to account and winning. Section 4. Case Study. 2. Resisting the algorithmic gaze. The silent spread of live facial recognition technology presented another grave threat to public freedom. Police forces and private companies began deploying these systems in public spaces, turning our streets into perpetual police lineups. This technology scans every face, comparing it against a watch list of images scraped from unknown sources. The potential for error, bias, abuse. It created a world where anyone could be misidentified as a criminal, and where the simple act of walking down the street became an act of being watched and judged by an algorithm. Big Brother Watch recognized this as a critical battle for the future of public space. The first step was to build a broad coalition. This was not a fight one group could win alone. They joined forces with 30 other organizations, human rights groups, technology experts, civil liberties advocates. Together, they launched the Stop Facial Recognition campaign. They combined their expertise to produce a powerful research report, The Algorithmic Gaze, which detailed the dangers and inaccuracies of the technology. This report, the foundation of their public and media work, was sent to every lawmaker in the country, ensuring the political class could not claim ignorance of the facts. While the public campaign and political lobbying were underway, the legal team took direct action against the private sector's use of this technology. They filed a detailed legal complaint with the Information Commissioner against a company that was selling facial recognition systems to a major chain of convenience stores. The complaint argued that this practice was a massive violation of data protection law, capturing the sensitive biometric data of millions of shoppers without their consent. This legal action put the entire industry on notice. The results of this integrated campaign were significant. The Information Commissioner's office investigated the complaint and found that the company had likely breached multiple data protection laws, leading to a significant shift in regulatory attitudes. Crucially, the intense pressure led to a change in the law itself. New rules were introduced requiring that any facial recognition match in a retail setting must be verified by a human before any action is taken. This small but vital change broke the automation of accusation, reinserting human judgment and slowing the advance of this dangerous technology. It was a win forged by coalition building, expert research, and strategic legal challenges. Section 5 of Case Study 3, exposing the supply chains of surveillance. The fight for digital rights is not just local, it is global. The tools of surveillance are often manufactured by companies linked to authoritarian states. One such company, Hikvision, has been implicated in the grave human rights abuses perpetrated by the Chinese state, including the mass surveillance of the Uyghur people. Despite this, its cameras were ubiquitous across the United Kingdom, used in schools, hospitals, council buildings. Big Brother Watch launched a campaign to expose this link and persuade public bodies, private companies to sever their ties with the firm, framing it as a moral and ethical imperative. The campaign strategy was twofold: targeting public opinion, targeting government policy. To engage the public, they launched a high-profile awareness campaign highlighting Hikvision's role in human rights abuses. This involved direct outreach to companies using the cameras, asking them to reconsider their supply chains. The public pressure pillar was built by naming and shaming, making it uncomfortable for consumer-facing brands to be associated with such a controversial supplier. This made the issue a matter of corporate social responsibility, not just a technical procurement decision. It connected the camera on a British high street to a human rights crisis thousands of miles away. Simultaneously, the political lobbying pillar focused on changing government rules. Big Brother Watch wrote to ministers and government departments, urging them to ban the purchase of surveillance equipment from companies implicated in genocide and other human rights violations. They provided briefings to members of Parliament, who then raised the issue in Parliament, questioning why taxpayer money was being used to fund these companies. They argued that the UK should not be complicit in the global expansion of digital authoritarianism. This inside track work aimed to cut off the flow of public money to the company at its source. The campaign achieved remarkable success on both fronts. On the corporate side, the public pressure worked. 5 major UK supermarkets, Tesco, Morrisons, publicly committed to stop using Hikvision cameras in their stores. This was a huge commercial blow and a significant reputational victory. On the government side, the lobbying efforts bore fruit when the UK government announced a ban on the installation of visual surveillance systems produced by companies subject to China's national security law on sensitive government sites. This campaign showed that by combining consumer pressure with targeted political lobbying, it is possible to disrupt the supply chains that enable surveillance states. Section 6. The path forward. Our digital future is not yet written. The victories of the past year prove that the fight for digital rights can be won. Secret government surveillance units have been reformed. The unchecked spread of facial recognition has been slowed. The supply chains of authoritarian technology have been disrupted. In 1 year, campaigners were quoted 27 times in Parliament. These are not small accomplishments. Tangible, measurable wins have made our society freer and safer. A clear strategy, executed with persistence and precision, can challenge entrenched power. This is the hopeful reality of modern activism. However, the battle is far from over. Technology evolves, and so do the threats to our freedom. On the horizon are new challenges that require our immediate attention. Governments are exploring plans for mass financial surveillance. Centralized digital ID systems threaten unprecedented social control. Live facial recognition is still being trialed by police forces. New government units are being formed to regulate online speech, raising fears of censorship. Each development must be met with the same strategic rigor that has proven effective. The fight ahead will rely on the same 3 pillars: public engagement, political lobbying, legal challenges.